Welcome to Trading Lounge and the gold report for Wednesday, October 13th. And we're going to look at the bullish count and we're going to look at a bearish count today. So with the bullish count here, we've got this triangle pattern, descending triangle from wave 3 to wave 4 here as the A, B, C, D and E here. We're currently in wave D here of B to C here, so C of D that we're in. We're looking for an impulse wave to the upside there, so let's go in and explore that area a little more on the intraday 2-hour chart. Now, it hasn't really presented the best pattern here for wave 1 here, but we do have an impulse wave in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1. It makes a nice A wave here and then 3 waves for the B wave. It did spike up, and then we'll look at that as a C wave, and then we'll look at this as building 1, 2 in here, building on this side. We'll have a closer look at that in a moment. So look, it's a little bit scruffy, the structure, and especially with the non-farm payrolls here spiking. I think it was a non-farm payrolls. I'm not up to date on the news, but obviously some employment figures or something or other here. But if you took that away for a moment, then, you know, if I just cut his head off here, then it makes a nice A, B, and then we can work down for the C wave there. It kind of looks nicer, do you know what I mean? This is building here quite nicely as well here. Let's go in and have a look at it on the tick chart. Just build it in on this area through here. Bring in a bit more data, maybe even a bit more. Maybe even some more. Okay, so we're right down here. So our focus is, we've got wave 1 over here, the A wave here, the B wave in 3 waves, and then the C wave here. I mean, it was, if you cut that off here, it was just starting the C wave anyway down here, do you know? So I think that's sort of okay-ish. We could look at this as a little bit rough, and it's probably 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here and building, but I've just looked at it as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. But obviously that overlaps that, so that's questionable. And yeah, so what I'm thinking is that from the top to the bottom, that's the 50-60% retracement level, and then taking from the bottom here to the top here, that's the 50-60%. Taking the top here and the bottom here, the 1765 is the 61.8%. So it's still, I'm still back to where I was originally, saying that we need support on this level. We need that 1765 as support. I mean, that trading up there is not really support. That's not support. That's not support. Support is when it comes back and tests it, you know, in a reasonable way. So once you got the first high above the level, then a move above that, after it comes back and checks it, you know, checks the demand. If there's no demand there, it will just fall down, because normally we take that long trade on top of that one, or the second high. We come down to the third high if it establishes another little classic trading levels pattern here, but we don't have that. We haven't had that. We don't have that. That's what we're looking for. So we just need to allow this to play out. If we do see a move down here, that will be a bit concerning. We can still allow it to come down in terms of this 61.8% roughly down here. I'll recheck that. So we can play it out to down here. We could look at this as an A and a B and a C wave down to that point. But it would be a concern that breaking that low there after this steady little build here. And the reason for that, if we look at well, I'll go to GDX. So this is GDX here. It's just an hourly chart. I've got an A wave here, a B wave over here, and this has been trending down. So this is really the stock market. So we know the stock market's been correcting, okay? So the stocks are moving down with that to a point, right? I mean, they've got their own world as well. But in terms of the count here, we could count it down as as 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here, it does leave that a little bit short there. Let's just double check that, shall we? So from here to here, let's just pop that on there. I haven't checked it. It's, yeah, well, wave 3 here is longer than, you know, we could do that, but the only problem with that is that this little top here overlaps this here. But we've got 5 waves down through to here, which I've been labeling as wave 1 here and back for wave 2, and then I've labeled this 1 and 2, and then I've labeled this 1 and 2 here. So what sort of scares me a little bit with the US spot gold is that once this wave 2 here is finished in the box, then it can move lower at that point. And because it's this will be, you know, this will be ABX, you know, Barrick Gold, Newcrest, some of those things. So, yeah, if this count is correct, it will come down quite quickly here because we've got the third of the third of the third coming into play here. Do you know what I'm saying? So so in Elliott terms, the third of the third here would come down pretty quickly. So if this is going to come down pretty quickly, if that's the case, if it drops through the 30, let's say, if the 30 becomes the retested resistance, then you'll know that you're going to be dropping down to 25 on the GDX ETF. But Barrick will be the same, Newcrest will be the same. So what will drag that down? Will the price of gold drag that down? You know, that's the problem. So this is all looking a little bit shaky here. We can get a bearish count out of all of this, so we're going to have a look at the bearish count now. It's not the first time that we've looked at it, but so in this instance here, we're looking at all of this as being the A wave here, and then an A wave here, an ABC for the B wave, and then the C wave here. So an A wave to here, B wave to here, and then a C wave down here further. So I've got this as wave 1 here. I mean, on the outside of it, the shell of it looks okay. We've got that first move down, and then we've got the strong third wave down. The fourth wave rose a little bit high and overlapped there a little bit, and the fifth wave wasn't really a beautiful fifth wave, so it's a little bit dodgy. But at the same time, in its own way, it's kind of okay as a 5 waves. I know you can pick a lot of holes in it, and then we were looking for a retest back to the box, so we got that sharp spike back to the box. So I wonder if that was it. So in this case, and looking at GDX, if GDX goes below $30, and we'll keep an eye on this as well, then like going low below these ones here could end up, you know, quite a speedy journey down here for this. So we'll just go to the intraday and check on this a bit further. So from that wave 2 up here, we can look at it as wave 1 and 2 and 3 here. So that's all really quite nice, really, I have to say. And then wave 4 here. And then we would look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, look, I know it's a little bit dodgy, but it's not too dodgy, you know. I mean, I've hung out with some dodgy characters, and this looks pretty good to me, you know. So in terms of this being 5 waves down for 1 here, and then looking at this as an A and a B and a C as a corrective pattern, it stands up quite nicely like that, you know. I'm not trying to panic anybody, but you know, we have to look at both sides of the coin. We need to know exactly what price we're going to be bullish and when we're going to be bearish. So on the bullish side, we're in a bit of a rock and a hard place at the moment, but for it to be bullish, as I mentioned, we want that 1765 as the support. Right? If it fails to do the support and it starts to come down here, well, then we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention that if let's just say that we got 5 waves down here, just shooting the breeze here, well, then we would come down to these lows here somewhere, of course, and we would see a bounce at that point, right? So the bounce at that point, that would set us up for the short trade at this stage. We can go from that low, we can go from the second low, and so on. So yeah, we just got to keep an eye on this. So Helen, if you're listening, then we'll take action once we get a clear impulse wave down here, and then we'll have to be net short at that point. Okay, but we don't need to do that yet. We just keep going the way that we're going. Yeah, we'll just see what occurs at this point. But it's just good to know both sides and what's going to happen, and we just need to everyone needs to act at the right time. So it should be interesting to see over the next 2 sessions at least what's going to happen to GDX, and we'll probably focus in a little bit more on that on that too. So we need to really understand, just going back to GDX here, we need to really understand this little rally here on the 1 hour at the moment. So we could go to 5 minutes to see what it looks like on 5 minutes. Well, I can see the middle of this. This is 1 and 2 here. That's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave there, an A and a B and a C for the fourth. So do we use that as 1 and 2? No, that's the A, B, C here. So let's just map this out a little bit, shall we? Didn't make a new low. I think we have to use that, and that would be, let's just pop that up there, and we'll need to just put that into perspective. So probably sub-minuet, and then we need to look at, I'll have a closer look at this. I just need to 1, 2, 3. So I'll have to play that way. I'll still need to do that. It just doesn't look right going into there, but we'll just do that for a moment. So as far as the crow flies, I think that I think we just got one more push up here. As 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. I think that looks okay. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on it, and what we'll look for, I mean, I could have the count wrong and there could be another little wave up or something, but let's just say that I got it right for a moment. Then what we'd be looking for is, what we want to see is we want to see an impulse wave to the downside. Something that's kind of clearish, you know, something that we can get our teeth into. Something like this. And then we'll look for the ABC pattern here. And this is where we'd need to be careful at this point. This is where it starts to sort of build up that point. So that first 5 waves down, that's what we're looking for. If we get that, then we know that we need to be on the short side over here for that. And like I mentioned, it could come down, if I've got this right, then it will come down. It'll come down pretty quick. I mean, once it starts going, you know, because it's kind of a bounce off the 30 in a way. And I wouldn't turn bullish unless I was on 33 here anyway. I know that's a long way away and stuff, but if we take a look at this back here again and look at this as wave 1 here, and then 2 here, then 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here, because that's what we're looking at. We can put those visibility just on minutes. Yeah, so that wave 2, so we're looking at that as an A and a B and a C wave up there into the box, and then looking for it to drop at that point. And what we'll look for is the first 5 waves down. I want to see, the reason I'm looking at this for is because I want to see how how GDX or gold stocks, or ABX, Newcrest Mining, all of those guys, how they operate with, how they move with the gold market. That's what we want to be focused on. Sometimes they'll move together, sometimes they won't, and we need to know what's what at that point. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So let's just, there's nothing more I can say about this. We're either got down for 1 and back for 2, and down for 1 and back for 2, and then down further, or we're going to find support on that 1765, and we can just continue on our merry way at that point. So we'll see what we're up against. But yeah, that 5 waves I just did down in GDX, we'll look for the same thing here. Okay, alrighty, I'll leave it at that. We're going to have a quick look at silver, but I don't think it's nothing exciting happening here at the moment. It's the same situation, you know. I can look at this bottom here as unfinished down to wave 5 here. I can look at this as corrective. I can look at it as bullish. You know, I need the $23 as support before it becomes bullish, and this all this reminds me of just corrective rallies, really. So I did tighten it up at that point to have wave 4 here and have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in line with gold. So I kind of forced that count a little bit, as you remember. So I could certainly still have wave 5 over here for that, but anyway, we'll see. One day, if we get that support, then I can say that we're in a bullish trend at that point. But if we don't get that, well, we're just in risk land, in no man's land, and we can certainly roll over from this point. But let's just see, you know. Okay, alrighty, thanks, cheers.